Welcome to my News on Point, your pulse on trending news. Subscribe for more videos.
All right, everyone, buckle up, because today we are diving into some seriously heavy stuff. But you know what? That's what these deep dives are all about. We're tackling Nigeria. Specifically, those protests and arrests that just went down. October 20th, just a few days ago. I mean, you've probably seen the headlines by now, maybe even some of those videos floating around online.
Yeah.
And well, our goal today is to really unpack WHY. This specific event is hitting such a nerve with so many people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so just a super quick recap for everyone listening for context. It's October 20th, 2024. Now, cast your mind back 4 years, almost to the day. It was the start of the EndSARS protests, right? Huge demonstrations against police brutality in Nigeria.
Right.
So this year, 4 years later, we have people gathering in Lagos peacefully, just remembering those who were killed back in 2020.
And then
boom, they're met with force. Arrests are made. Our source even mentions like a Black Maria. Which, if you don't know, it's this like super intimidating police van they have in Nigeria. And in the videos, you can actually hear the protesters. You can hear them yelling, injustice, this is our constitutional right. It's really heartbreaking, It feels like history is kind of repeating itself in a way. So to me, this feels like so much more than just a news story, right? What's the deeper meaning here? What do you think?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head there, saying this is more than just a news story, because you're right, it's because of EndSARS. October 20th, I mean, that date is like a powder keg in Nigeria. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just brings back all the trauma, the anger, the feeling that, those demands for change, they haven't been met. So when the authorities, when they respond to these memorial protests, these peaceful protests with force, it feels to a lot of people like they're saying, we haven't learned anything. We haven't changed.
Yeah, and it's not even just the date itself, right? It's the fact that, okay, they were protesting police brutality, right? And then, bam, like more alleged brutality right on top of it.
Right.
I can't imagine how much that must sting.
Yeah, exactly. It just feeds into this larger issue, this issue of freedom of expression, the right to assemble, which, I mean, it's right there in the Nigerian constitution,
Yeah, it's supposed to be protected.
It's supposed to be protected, but when you see these events and they keep happening, it raises some serious questions about, well, how are those rights actually being upheld in practice? It makes you wonder.
Totally. So we're talking about like this deep-seated anger, right?
Yeah.
This feeling of being unheard. But then you add this whole other layer on top of it, which is, well, social media. Because like even the source we're looking at today, they specifically mentioned the videos of the arrests. It seems like. It feels like every time something like this happens now, boom, the videos are right there.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Social media has become, well, it's crucial now. It's this crucial tool for what we call citizen journalism. Everyday people right there on the ground, they're using their phones, documenting exactly what's happening, and they're doing it a lot of times in situations where like traditional media, they might not be there, or they might not be able to, operate freely and get the story.
Right, yeah.
But the people are.
It's like they have their own evidence, right, to show, like, this is what went down.
Exactly. And honestly, that is huge. It can be actual evidence. It can be used to, like, mobilize international pressure. And sometimes, it can even force these conversations to happen, conversations that, honestly, without the videos, might have been totally silent.
Which makes you wonder, like, okay, so we see these videos, right? Actually, we feel outraged.
Right.
But does it actually create change on the ground in Nigeria?
Yeah.
Like, what's the impact?
I mean, that's the million-dollar question right there. It's really complex, to be honest. Yeah. On one hand, it shines a light on injustice. It creates pressure, like we were talking about. But on the other hand, lasting change, that's not easy. That takes sustained effort. It takes legal reforms. It takes an actual shift in culture and real accountability within institutions. It's a lot.
It is, yeah. So where does that leave us then? I mean, what can we take away from all of this?
I think this event, as awful and frankly heartbreaking as it is, it reminds us that the fight for justice, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's not about just one protest, one arrest, one viral video even. It's about systemic change. It's about holding the people in power, holding their feet to the fire, and holding them accountable. And it's something that demands our attention, demands it even when the headlines fade away and people stop talking about it. Because it's still happening.
Absolutely. I think it's easy to feel overwhelmed when we see stuff like this, or even honestly helpless. But to me, what you're saying is stay engaged, stay informed, and just. Don't let these issues fade from the conversation. It really makes you think, like what can each of us do in our own way, even if it feels small, to actually support those who are fighting for justice and accountability, and not just in Nigeria, but everywhere.
Yeah, I think that's a really important question to ask ourselves.
It is. It's something worth thinking about. So thank you for
Thank you.
for this really important conversation.
Thanks for watching. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section.